Hello? Can anyone see me or hear me? This is rather strange. Hello? It's working! Hello! Thank you for telling me it's working. I was beginning to wonder then whether it was actually working or not. Hello! Hello everyone. Whew. What can I say? It's been a drama just to get this to work. So the fact that I'm even here is a good thing. Thank you, Lolly. There's nothing like a child that helps you with your tech. So that was her helping, because I hit live, it was supposed to go live, and then it didn't go live. And I was like, oh no, what do I do now? So let me just, I was all set up a minute ago, and now I'm all flustered because I don't know where everything is. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for letting me know it's working. I'm pleased that I've actually managed to do it after all the effort that's gone into it. Hello, Yasmin. Hello, how are you? I know this was rather an impromptu sort of stitch with me live, but I was sitting there stitching anyway all day, so I thought, you know what, I don't really fancy making a video, but there's no reason why I can't sit and do a stitch with me live, seems as I was sitting here stitching anyway. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity. So let me just see if I can sort myself out. Look, I've got the shakes now because it's all rather scary. Let's have a little read. Hello everyone. Oh, there's a comment saying no voice. Can you hear me now? You can hear me, can't you? I'm not just sort of sitting here sort of not speaking to you and that you're just seeing my mouth move. Oh no, what have I done? Let's try this again. So as you can see, let's talk about the stitching, shall we? That's what I was doing in the first place. I'm trying to thread my needle and it's not going so well either. So let's have a little go at this. Okay, we have a needle threaded. Right, okay, so surprise, surprise people, I have this that I'm stitching on today. Spring Quaker. Now you'll remember I started this ages ago, and I didn't really like the fabric that much because I was struggling to see it. But I've changed my contact lenses and it seems to have sort of made all the difference, along with, yes Yasmin, you're right, I am using my new stand because it's super cool. See, new stand, and it's sat on the table, so I can get really close to my stitching and chat to you and do what I need to do at the same time. Hello from Coventry. Hello Coventry. Oh, hello Mrs. Perkins. How the devil are you? Okay, let's see if I can actually stitch something now. Oh, my bit of papers fell on the floor now. Okay, hold on. Be right back. There's nothing quite like a professional job, is there? So the fabric that I'm using for this one is, let me see if I can get the light to, the light's not very good, is it? Can you see that? I can't remember what this fabric was, but when I got this fabric, I think it was called Pot Puree. And I was struggling with the fabric with these little balls of fun, because these are the threads that I'm using, which are, she says, Valdani. So this is the 3 standard cotton floss balls. that the chart calls for. And I was really struggling, but I seem to have sort of mastered the art of it a bit more now, so I'm hoping that it's all going to go much more simply now. Hello, welcome. Hello from South Korea. Oh, you're all so lovely. So I hope you're all having a lovely Sunday afternoon or morning. Well, what is it? Hang on, let me see. What time is it here? So it's just coming up 4:30 here in the UK. So it's like more of an evening-y thing for me. I think that's sort of afternoonish for our US and Canada friends. Slightly later for the European friends. So yeah. Okay, let me see if I can just work out where I need to start, and then I can stitch and talk to you at the same time. Well, that's the theory. But as you know, I am not very good at stitching and talking all at the same time, especially not when I haven't even put a stitch in. Okay, where are we? Okay. Let me just quickly get my first stitch in. Oh no. I'm not liking this. What is going on? It's 5:27 p.m. Yeah, so you're running an hour later than us here in the UK. Oh, okay, let me see. Oh, come on. That's it. Okay. And we're off, she says. I do apologise for the rather bad start to the stream. So we've got I'm in Austin and it's 10:30 in the morning. Oh, so you've got a whole Sunday. Lucky you. I wish I had a whole Sunday all over again. I've got to go back to work tomorrow. And it is absolutely freezing here, I've got to be honest. We got up to a really, really deep frost, which we've been quite lucky here in the sunny south. We haven't had any frost until now. And now we've just got more frost than, well, we had frost yesterday, which was like white all over everything, and then we had the same again this morning. So it was a little hardcore for me. So almost dinner time, so can't stay long. That's no problem. I'm just doing this was basically just totally impromptu. It was like I'm sitting here stitching anyway, so you know, why not do a video at the same time? Do you know what? I've already made a mistake. Oh, we're doing well. Look, such a fabulous start. Okay, let's unpick this. Okay, I just need to take a moment. So you've all wowed me. I was expecting maybe a few people might pop on, but the fact that there's so many of you, I've got all flustered. So bear with. This is like the first live stream that I've done in so long, and it takes me a little while to sort of get into the moment. Hi Ivy, welcome to the live stream, of which is very impromptu. Okay, where are we? Let's get this sucker going. Perfect timing for me. I'm on the sofa stitching with you. Hi from Germany. Hello. It's freezing here too, in misty in Stoke-on-Trent. Yeah, I did see that there's a fog warning or something. Not for us. We've just got more frost coming tomorrow. So what have we all been up to? Are we all just doing the same as me, just sort of sitting there hanging out and doing some stitching? I've had a really quiet day. Hubby went off out first thing this morning, and I've basically, other than do a couple of loads of washing, I haven't done anything today. Nothing. Apart from stitch, obviously. I've done stitching. I was working on my Heaven and Earth Design Mini Red Queen Red Dragon. Or you was working on Mini Owl Trio. Ooh, I don't think I've seen that one. Why does that look so big? It can't be. Foggy in Wigan and frosty. Yeah. We've been quite lucky, haven't we, really, here in the UK. We've not really had any, what I call sort of serious wintry weather. But all of a sudden, it's almost as if like we've just hit this really cold snap. But hey, our cold snap is absolutely nothing like what our poor friends in Canada are getting right now. I just hope that they've sort of dug. I've seen some pictures on Facebook where they're sort of like their cars need digging out. I mean, we've never seen snow like that before. Not here in the south anyway. It's warm in my house with the log burning stove in very cold Leicester. Thank you for beginning photo. Hi Natalie. Oh, so you're on your first Heaven and Earth design, full coverage. How are you finding it? Are you getting on okay? Sitting here listening to you, waiting for coffee and stitching my birds for the month. Oh, you're doing the birds monthly series, Ivy. I did see that. I almost got enabled and then I sort of showed some self-restraint. Well, as best I could anyway. So, but I want to. Where am I? There we are. Leah got a washing done yesterday. He's been stitching all day except for the lunch break. Do you know what? I've completely forgotten about lunch today. But I did have late breakfast, so I think that counts. Booked a stitching gal road trip with my bestie to the Lake District in October. Oh, Gillian, check you out. Mary, we need a stitchy road trip on top of the one that we've got coming. So for those of you that don't know, the lovely Mary Perkins, who is on the live stream in the chat, we are heading out to Arizona in February to go and see the lovely Deborah. So although I was thinking, do you know what I could really do with a holiday or sort of to go somewhere sunny, I haven't really got to wait that long because I get to go away soon to see Deborah and to see some warmer weather as well. I'm getting all the supplies and starting it in February. I'll let you know. I'm going to try to do 100 stitches daily. It will be 2 years in the making. That sounds fabulous, Natalie. So you're going to start it in February? I remember the days well, the first ever Heaven and Earth design, and once I started it, there was just no putting it down. It was it was really addictive for me. So Ivy says, we had temperatures as cold as -55 Celsius all last week. Wow. I hope you had your onesie on, because I'd need a onesie for that. Can I come in your stitchy road trip? Can I come in your stitchy road trip? I've missed you both at retreats. The woolly hatted stitcher. Who are you? Snow days in Toronto, perfect for working for my pretty little... Oh, you've got a snow day. See, that's the thing. I like snow days if I didn't need to leave the house. But inevitably, we don't ever have enough snow that it stops us having to go to work. So, yeah, that's what sucks. Grandma. Hello, everyone. Right, Concentrate, Teresa, before you make a mistake. I better not put that up there. I nearly put my chart up then so you could all see. Okay, so we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 5, 4, 3. Okay. You're going to take your stitching everywhere with you. You're going to the UK to visit your sister and to Spain. Oh, that's lovely. So you're going to Spain to visit your parents. Are you Spanish then, or are they just sort of residing out in Spain? Ivy, no, I hope to head out walking to work. Oh, Ivy, you had to walk outside in it? Oh, no. No. So now you just put me off of the idea of snow. Give me the sunshine any day. Oh, Charlotte, yes, I remember you. Hello. Sorry. I didn't recognise the woolly hatted stitcher. I'm sorry. How's your headless horseman? I'm going to have to move this parked thread, aren't I, in a minute? See, look, little projects like this, and I'm still parking threads all over the place. Do you do that, or do you only do that on your full coverage? Look, just got like a random thread that I've just sort of put out of the way. Because I sort of refuse to sort of cut this. Because if I cut it, I'll guarantee you that I'll need that colour again. So I just sort of hang it somewhere until I'm ready to use it again. Always wearing the woolly hats and it's up and framed. Oh, wow. Oh, have I got some news for you guys. So, you know that I finished Grace Faces and my high heels collection. And I sort of said, oh yeah, it's going to be done, I'm going to get them framed, blah, blah, blah. And nothing really came of it. Well, you get a sneak peek because you're on the live chat. In this month's monthly update, I've got them back from the framers. And you know when you're just like, the ones that you was thinking, oh, you know, it'll be alright, I'll just stick a frame around it, it'll be fine. The high heels collection one, the one with the 3 high heels on it, has just turned out so divine that I'm just like, oh, because I wasn't expecting it to look that good. It was, I just thought, you know, once it's got a frame on it, you know, I'll put it probably in my study or something, and, you know, because it wasn't like one of the big sort of like wow ones for me. But now I've got it back from the framers, I'm like, oh wow. And even my mum was just like, oh wow, that's like really, really nice. So yeah, spoiler everyone, that's what's coming in the monthly update this month. It's only took me, I mean, when did I finish? I finished Grace Faces, I think it was the summer. So, I don't know, June time, before June, somewhere around there, I think. So I'm like, oh God. So Natalie says she's from Spain, international family. My sister lives and works in the UK. My parents and uncle in Spain. Oh, very nice. It's alright, I'm struggling to focus on my stitching and sort of read the comments at the same time. It's about now that I could do with you all being interactive enough that I could talk to you. I know I'm talking, but it would be nice if I could hear what you're saying. Who is the designer of the shoes? Oh, the shoes designer was Soda Stitch. Or Soda Stitches. But by the looks of things, because obviously now that I've seen how lovely it's turned out on the frame, I was thinking, even my daughter turned around and said, well, wasn't there sort of 3 different sort of charts? And I was like, yeah. So she was like, well, maybe if you did the other 2, and then you could sort of like hang them as like a trio. And I was like, yeah, actually, because I wasn't expecting them to look that good. So obviously the fact that they do look that good, I was like, oh yeah. But I don't think they do them anymore. So I don't think that they're producing those charts anymore. So I can't seem to get my hands on the other two versions of the chart. This is the first time I've caught you live. Hi Patricia. Well, I'm sure that it's pretty much the same as most people. I don't normally go live. This is rather an impromptu. You know, I'm sitting here stitching anyway, so I might as well jump on and go live. Plus to remind myself how the techie stuff works, because I've completely forgotten how that works as well. Hence the reason why when I said it was supposed to start at 15:15, it sort of looked like it had ended because we had a bit of a technical glitch. So yeah, I thought, well, since as I'm sitting here stitching anyway, it makes sense to see who else is stitching and I could have a little chat with you all. You need someone to sit there and read out the comments to you. You can stitch too. Do you know what? That's such a cool idea. I reckon I should have like a little stitchy friend that's sort of sitting to the side of me, also stitching. But well, no, because they can't stitch if they're reading the comments, can they? I need someone to sort of sit and read the comments out to me so that I can stitch and read comments, or stitch and listen to what you're saying without keep looking up. I wonder how many Flosstubers do you follow? How many Flosstubers do I follow? As in, how many do I actually watch? She doesn't need to sit by you. I have to be honest, I watch a lot of Flosstubers. I really do. I follow a lot of Flosstubers. Because although I don't actually get to watch Flosstube as much as I would like to, if I'm sitting there stitching, I'll sit there and stitch with them, like while they're talking. And if I'm getting ready for work, I'll normally have them on. I think, I don't know, if I was to say how many Flosstubers I follow, there's a good 150, 200 of them. I mean, my feed, sometimes obviously I can't keep up with everyone that's posting their videos. So it'll get to the point that I've got like my notifications that come in and I'll just, you know, I'll miss so many videos. I'll see the notification come in but not have time to actually sit and watch their videos. So then when I actually do get a chance to sit and watch their videos, I sort of think, well, do I go back and watch the ones that I've missed so that I don't miss any, or do I just start again from where I'm at? So I tend to just normally start again from where I'm at. So I probably miss a lot, to be honest. But I do watch a lot of Flosstubers. I'm pretty lame at commenting, gotta be honest. I'm too busy stitching for that. So I tend to just like everything. You don't know how I do it. I have to frog a lot. Have you never watched one of these? I've had to frog immense amounts because I've sat here stitching and trying to talk to you all at the same time. And for those that actually do it, maybe if you do it more regularly, it actually gets easier, but I don't really do it regularly enough. So I tend to find that on the most occasions that I've done Stitch With Me lives like this, where I'm trying to talk and stitch at the same time, 9 times out of 10 I've then had to go back and rip. Oh, I've just realised you're not watching anything because the camera stopped working. Oh, there we go. How's that? Can you see? You have to right, we have a problem. There's always this technical problem with this camera. So once I've been streaming for 30 minutes to an hour, I think it's about 30 minutes, normally the camera will stop working. So you'll be sitting there thinking that I'm stitching, and it's only like when I'm sitting there watching the screen, I'm like, hang on, you can't actually see my hands moving, even though they are. Oh, Teresa, your video on the stitcher has stopped. Oh, it must have only just stopped. Look, see, I was all over that, people. All over that. Hi, Bonnie. Oh, from Florida. Oh, I bet you're enjoying some warmer weather, aren't you? So you can see my stitching now. Good. Okay. I can go back to stitching now. I did this on a live stream once before where I sat there stitching and chatting. And obviously because no one knew that I was still stitching, maybe they thought I was just sitting there chatting, the camera had stopped. So I'm sitting there thinking that you were seeing what I was doing. In actual fact, you couldn't see a thing. So what's Natalie said, do you go to a lot of retreats? Do I go to a lot of retreats? I love retreats. I love retreats, but I don't get to go to them as much as I would like, if I'm honest. So, was it last year? I'm trying to think. Mary, when did we go away? So there have been a number of years where I've done at least 2 retreats a year. Normally one in sort of February time, and then another one sort of September, October time. But it just wasn't panning out. And then obviously because I've been doing my dancing as well, there's a lot of expense that goes with that, and obviously travelling. So I tend to find that all of a sudden it diminished a little bit. So I went from sort of doing at least 2 or 3 retreats a year. And then me and the lovely Mary Perkins one year decided that we was going to go and do a sort of just a getaway. So rather than paying the money for a big retreat and doing the whole retreat thing, we just went on our own. Let me see if I can move this in a bit. Ooh. So I hope the camera doesn't fall over on me. No, this way, Teresa. That's better. Let's move this down a bit. Oh, there we go. So me and the lovely Mary decided that we would go on our own little, say, retreat. It wasn't a retreat, it was just a girly getaway, just the 2 of us. And we just went away and stayed for a weekend. And that was lovely because we just sat and stitched, and we was in the same room. It was fabulous. But I do love a good retreat. And obviously what have I got? So I went to the retreat the end of last year. Was it the end of last year? So I went to the crew retreat. But that's a smaller group rather than the big one in February. And then I think the plan is that I'll be going to something similar again this year. You have to ignore the noise. That's the dog in the background kicking things. Oh, I've got a knot in my thread now. That's not good, is it? Okay, we'll pull that off and we'll do some more thread. So I do love a good retreat. I mean, I would love to go out to the States and actually do a retreat in the States, but for the amount of money that it costs to actually do the retreat, on top of the flights to get out there, then obviously I've always sort of been a believer, if I'm going to spend that much money going to the States to go to a retreat, I can't just go for just the retreat. I would have to make a holiday out of it. So then it would need me to sort of make plans and go on my summer holiday whilst I'm out there to make it worth my while. It's not to say that I won't do that yet. We'll see. It's going good. Hey Tina, how are you? She's in Canada. How are you getting on with your weather? How's your weather, Tina? Are you okay? Are you safe? I've seen some pictures. I can't remember who I saw, but someone was posting pictures on Facebook and their cars were missing. Like they showed a picture of their driveway. They had no cars. Although the cars were there, they were underneath the snow. It looked terrible. It was 51 with the wind chill. Oh, you poor thing. I hope you're staying indoors. Will you get more stitching done too with just the two of you? Do you know what? You sit there and say that you get more done when there's just like one or two of you, as against going to the retreats. I don't think it makes any difference to me. I don't think I get any more or less done depending on where I am. I think it just depends on the day. Sometimes I'll be a lot more sort of diligent and focused than other days, and obviously I am sort of that person that once people are like, hi Cheese, I'm like, hi, I can't help myself, and sort of, yeah. And then obviously, because as you can see, I can't seem to stitch and chat all at the same time, the stitching stops and the chatting starts, and then once the chatting starts, well, all hell breaks loose. Have you ever thought of setting up a visual stitching account with Zoom? Oh. So, Gillian, visual stitching account with Zoom. So, is that the equivalent of like a Skype call? Something along that lines? Oh, Tina, my love. It's -51 and you're freezing. Someone sent Tina a onesie or something. I do hope you don't have to go outside. What's this? I should stop in New Jersey. We could do the same, just stitch together in your house. I'm counting as you do, says. So I will know how many stitches to complete later today. Hello, Richard. How you doing? Hi, Belinda. Okay, right, now I need to just focus a minute. Hold on, because otherwise this all goes seriously wrong. We don't want that to happen. Okay, 1, 2. Where are we going? Get down there. As you can see, I start my threads completely different to most people. Because it's the way I roll. Okay, and we're off again, she says. I really should get rid of that thread though that's sticking in the way. Dinner time here will stay online as I'm addicted to your channel. Don't let me hold you up from your dinner. Make sure you eat your dinner. What have you got today? I hope it's something yummy. So Leah goes to a monthly stitch meeting as the only stitcher. I always prepare a project with big blocks of colour that I can outline, otherwise I will only fog afterwards. Do you know what? I really did try that. But the problem is obviously most of the things that I stitch on don't really have what I call big blocks of one colour. It's always got more than one colour in it. Maybe I'm picking the wrong projects to do this. Okay, where am I? 3. So yes, you set up a account, and those who are friends, you send them a code and you'll go live and sit and chat while stitching. Oh, that might be a good idea, Gillian. We could definitely try that, because that means I wouldn't have to keep sitting here reading. I could actually sit and chat, couldn't I? Oh, the Zoom costs for a year. Oh, I didn't realise that. Dang. Oh, well, this is quite nice. I've relaxed a bit more now. I wasn't very relaxed when I first started this stream because it was all just sort of a bit scary. And obviously I wasn't expecting to find so many of you online. It's a bit scary when I know that you're sitting there listening to me and I only get to read you. So, hang on, where are we? Let me mark off on my chart before I actually make a mistake. Do you ever find that you sort of, you think you know where you are and you think you're doing really well, and then all of a sudden, without any warning, it's like, oh no, I was looking at the wrong line. Or the wrong bit, in my case. Okay, so what bits have we done? We've done that. Okay. Staying focused, people. Staying focused. You could join Karen Needlebug Zoom. She's set up a Zoom. Yeah, I've been watching Karen. She does the one where I was watching one, was it yesterday? A different way of starting two threads on a single thread. No, a loop start on a single thread, you know what I mean. Yasmin's sitting there watching with the kids. Oh, I bet your kids love you. I hope you haven't took over the whole of the oh no, the camera's about to die, people. Oh, do you know what? I might have to pause you. I tell you what, let me pause you. You see the little flashy light? I don't know if you can see the flashy light. The flashy light says that the camera's about to run out. So I'm just going to pause the stitching cameras and put you onto the starting soon screen and change the camera battery. I think I'll have to do that because I'd like to do maybe another half an hour. What do you reckon? We've all got another half an hour? We got half an hour? If not, I can just log off. Change the battery. See what I have to contend with. Sit tight, people. I'm gonna stick you on a standby screen just so that I can change the camera battery so that you can see what I'm doing. So hold fire. Nothing like a bit of tech. Nothing like a bit of tech. I'm loving it. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. Let me see if I can find a be right back. Hold on. Okay. I'm back. Okay, can you all see me? Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. We need to listen down with their dad's joke book. Okay, who's got a joke book that sits in the bathroom just to amuse themselves when they've got nothing better to do? Right, okay. Hopefully you can see the stitching, you can see me again. We have replaced the battery. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello. Right. Perfect. Okay, so that you can see what I'm doing again now. So, what is the week bringing to everyone this week? I have the joyous task of being in London most of it, which I don't like it when it's this cold because the frost in the mornings. It's so cold going into work because obviously I work in the city, so my commute is 2 hours door to door. And there is nothing worse than being stuck on a freezing cold platform waiting for a train. And it's not like I can wrap up really warm because I'm on and off trains, on tubes and overheads. You can't wrap up that warm because you're forever taking layers off and putting layers back on. It's not for the faint-hearted. Okay, where am I? Am I in the right place? Yeah. Hi, Karen. Would love to have you join in the Zoom virtual stitching room. I'd love to join. Well, it depends on when it is. Is it a week thing or is it a weekend thing, Karen? Obviously, most weekdays I'm at work, but I'd love to hang out and give it a go. A bit of actual chatting and talking. Going to Super Bowl weekend. Sit and stitch Friday to Sunday. My first. Oh, that sounds awesome. So a pre-Super Bowl weekend. What about thermal fleece leggings to keep your legs warm? Now I'd be rocking that look, wouldn't I, in my power suit? Hello, Stephanie in Alabama, USA. I don't believe it. I'm actually getting some stitching done, people. This is like unheard of. Maybe this is the piece. Do you know what? This is the piece that I really didn't want to stitch on because I didn't like these threads. But whilst I'm sitting here talking to you and the fact that I've got like sort of blazing light in my face right onto the stitching, I can see really, really well. So maybe this should be like my Stitch With Me live piece so that I actually get work done on it. Hello, welcome all. Right, okay, where are we now? Okay. Hi, Caught Alive. I love your videos. You taught me the loop method and now it's all I ever use. Hi, Rachel. I'm pleased that you found a method that works for you. Nothing like finding something that works for you, is there? Oh, I nearly touched the keyboard then. I don't want to do anything like end the stream, do I? Right in the middle of it. So I have to be honest, the 2020 idea of sort of making sure that I do plenty of stitching so far seems to be going really well. You know, like when you have those months where you just feel like you've actually achieved so much more. Well, I'm having one of those months. Admittedly, I am doing a lot of stitching though on the weekends and not much of anything else. So the housework, I haven't been doing housework. I've been doing my housework in the evenings so that I can just sit and stitch all weekend. And kicking husband out, obviously, because I think he gets bored. So he's just like, oh, you know, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And then I feel obliged that I have to go and do something with him because he's bored. Hi, Kirsty from Washington. No, we haven't spoken since Scotland, have we? Wow, that was a long time ago. That was like, when was that retreat? Not last year, the year before? Yeah, I didn't go last year. So it must have been the year before. Wow, 2018. Hi, Ivy, you're back. How's my mum doing these days? My mum, lover, is doing so well. So well. In fact, I went down there just before I went live to go and check on her, because I always sort of pop down there. If I know that I'm not likely to get down to see her in the evening and stop for a cup of tea, then I'll always pop down and just sort of say to her, you know, is you all right? Do you need anything? Inevitably, she never actually needs anything, lover. But I went down there and I was like, oh, I said, I thought I'd just quickly pop down and see you. I said, because I'm gonna go on a live stream. She's like, oh. So she went, oh, all right then. She said, you haven't done one of those? And I was like, no, I haven't done one for so long. I said that I've forgotten how to do it, so I think I need to do it. But she's doing so well. She goes off out on her electric scooter. Goes Morrison's. Where does she go? Morrison's, Co-op, Sainsbury's. She loves a good Sainsbury's run. And where obviously we was doing sort of the Christmas stuff, it was a lot more difficult for her because obviously she was trying to focus on Christmas presents, which is really quite testing for her sometimes, to just remember everything that she needs to remember. But now she's like doing what I would call window shopping. So now she's just, you know, breezing around the shops. I think she rather likes window shopping. But health-wise, she actually is doing really well. Really well, all things considered. She has bad days. She has days where, you know, I think she gets very frustrated because of some of the simpler tasks that she thinks that she should be able to do and just don't happen. But there's no rhyme or reason for why that day isn't happening, but any other day it would be fine. So yeah. So she gets a little frustrated, but I think because she's quite positively thinking, she sort of rides over most of that and sort of sees the funny side in it. So yeah, but thank you for asking. Mum is doing fabulously. Thank you. What's this? I just have to tell you. Oh, what was that? I just have to tell you, you're my hero. Beautiful home, beautiful garden. Always dressed to the tens. Wife, mother, and then stitching all the things. Oh, Stephanie, you're so sweet. I don't know. I don't think I'm any different to anyone else, am I? It's what we do. Mums, wives, you know. Although I do love my gardening. You know I love my gardening. Hence the reason for this lovely pattern. Because obviously this is all about flowers. It's got all the flower names on it, which is lovely. Tuesday I was finally able to use your spreadsheet. It works wonderfully. Hi Ruby. Oh, I'm so pleased it worked for you. I know that a few people had a few problems with it, like actually getting it to do what they wanted it to do. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, let's move you over there. That's it, so you can see. I'm not quite sure why it was doing that, or why people were having a problem. I think it was they were making some changes to the columns, which then makes it a bit more tricky because obviously of the coding well, not the coding. Use your words, Teresa. Use your words. Obviously the formatting. So if you start adding columns and areas to the WIP page, it would throw the formatting out. So then all of a sudden it wasn't doing the conditioning formatting. So I had a few people that emailed me, and I was just like, look, just email me what you've got, and I'll make some adjustments to it. So if you was having any problems, you could always email it to me, and I could go in and just sort out the formatting. Do you ever sit and stitch with her? Why not get her to sit and read the comments for you? Do you know? See, now that would be a very good idea, would be to sit and stitch with Mum and get her to read the comments out to me. However, I think she would struggle with the speed of the comments, because obviously when I'm sitting here reading the comments, it's continually rolling. I'm not sure she'll be able to keep up with the rolling comments, so I don't think that would help very much. But nice try. Or Mum, I don't know if my mum's on it. My mum might actually even be on this stream. She might be watching from afar. Mum, are you watching? If you're watching, do you think you would be able to read out the comments as they're coming up, so that I don't have to sit here and read them? I don't expect you to answer if you are on there, Mum. Just to confuse you. Maybe we'll chat about it with a cup of tea later. So what's this? Oh my god, I forgot that you work too. Oh yes, I definitely very much work. I wouldn't be able to afford all these hobbies if I didn't work. Okay, where am I? Think. Okay, so Rachel says, here's a question. Do you have any tips for keeping your floss from unraveling from your needle while you're working? This happens to me all the time and it drives me crazy. So what you mean, sort of when you pull it up, it sort of comes off the needle? Is that what you mean? Come on. So look, you're getting a right close up of the back of my work. It's really messy, isn't it? There's the bit about this stand maybe I don't like, is that it's not very forgiving, because it's showing you all of my backs. Not that I worry about the backs, to be honest. The only person that sees them is me and you. Scissors. Yes. To be honest, I think it depends on if you're a bit thrifty with your thread. I tend to find that I'm not particularly thrifty with my thread. So when I say thrifty with my thread, so for instance, if I lay that like that, it's very difficult to do this, people. So if I lay that like that, you'll see that I have like a rather large towel. So that isn't my working end. This end here, the longer end, is my working end. So I always tend to sort of hold it so that when I'm holding my thread, I've got enough thread that I'm catching it at the back end of my hand. So I tend to find that if I allow for my thread to get to sort of up here somewhere, and I only have a little towel at the top here like that, then I tend to find that my needle comes off because I haven't got enough to grab, and it tends to just automatically want to open like that. So I always make sure that I have like a really long double section at the very top of my needle. Does that make sense? That's just the way I do it. Okay, what else? I didn't know there were so many different types of roses until I spoke to you. Well, you know that I could talk, I can talk about my flowers to my heart's content. I do love my flowers, especially when it comes to my roses, my rambling roses, my climbing roses, my rose bushes, my my miniature roses, my half standards, my standards. Don't get me started. Do you know what? I can't wait for my roses to come out. Although some of them have already started to sort of show signs of having buds on. That's how mild it's been here. It's been very mild. And Kirsty's right, yeah, a smaller eyed needle might help. The only thing that I find with the smaller eyed needles is then I have a job actually threading it. Especially with floss like this. So this is obviously 3-ply. So you need to sort of squish the end a bit. And I find that if my eye's too small, it just irritates me because it takes me forever to be able to thread the needle. Oh, there we go. Right, where am I going? Before we go anywhere, let's mark off. Okay. Right, let me work out where I need to start, because if I start talking to you and I try and do this at the same time, it could all get rather messy. Okay, so we want to come down one, two, three, so now. Oh no, Teresa, it's not what you want to do. You want to go down that one. That's it. There. That's where we need to be. Okay, right. Sussex Stitcher, my roses are showing signs of budding too. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I think it's just, I mean, some of them do sort of bud up quite early, but I've never really known them to sort of be as good as they are now. So I think it's just that we've had such mild weather. I mean, we've really not had any real sort of cold snaps. So not really that you could talk about anyway. So, but that's not to say that, like, I mean, I know that the weather's saying that basically we're in for a bit of a cold snap now, so be careful what we wish for, huh? I do the same technique. Nowadays I use petite needles, a lot easier to hold the thread at the eye and more easier to play chicken with. I like that one. Gillian, why can't you take care of your roses? What's the problem? The bit I like about roses, you don't really need to do too much with them apart from a bit of pruning. They like pretty much most soils, so you don't need to worry about that either. Although I must admit they do require a bit of deadheading. So if you're not good with the deadheading. But I'm going to quickly wiggle the camera because you know what happens if I leave this too long. So let me quickly wiggle the camera for you. Oh, what's that?
I'm going.
You're going?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to say hello?
Yeah, I'll come say hello.
Come and say hello. This is Lauren. This is my techie
Hello.
person. So this is the one that's responsible for whenever anything starts to go wrong and Mum starts to have a total flap.
Yes.
And I'm like,
we do sort you
Lauren,
out. It's
quick,
okay.
help!
No, you are pretty good. You're pretty good with tech, but you just need that little extra nudge, and you've got your confidence now. So
Yeah, I'm getting there.
yeah, you're getting there. You're doing pretty well.
What would I do without her?
Right, I gotta go.
All right.
Mwah.
Love you.
See you
Drive
soon.
careful.
Love you.
Bye.
I'll
Bye,
be
Ben.
like 2 hours or so.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Oh, love her to bits. Teresa, how are you starting your threads on that? So literally, Gillian, I'm starting with a single. I basically just put it in my top hole. Without showing you, it's difficult to explain it. So, as you know, I do my stitches my bottom left to top right, and then my bottom right to top left. So, I sort of put my needle down from the front so that I don't have to turn it over and secure the thread. I secure my thread by doing it a bit like how I would do a 2-strand loop start, in that I would go into my top right hand corner, pull the thread down and just leave a very, very tiny tail sticking out, come up at my bottom left leg as if I'm starting, and then push that back. It sort of catches the thread. I don't know how it does it, it just does. And I'm quite happy with the way that that works for me, because I don't have to keep flipping my work, and I've never had a problem with one coming undone. So it catches the back of the thread, or it catches the end of the thread at the back of the stitch, if that makes any sense. I was wondering if you could talk about where you get your projects that aren't heads. I only seem to find the basic kits when I look around. I go various places, to be honest, to get my charts. Mostly, if I'm perfectly honest, I'm enabled through Flosstube. So I tend to find that when I sit there and watch Flosstube and I see someone else stitch something, it sort of does that whole, oh wow. And then I just Google it. I mean, obviously you've got 123 Stitch. I do purchase a lot of charts from 123 Stitch. It used to be, I used to go to a company called So and So and order my charts from there. But obviously they've shut down now. What else? There's a place called Patchwork Rabbit. And obviously if you go on Etsy, so if you go on the Etsy store and you look in charts there's quite a few suppliers there that I actually quite like. So places like Stitch Rovia, I think it's called Pattern Templates. They do some lovely designs. And then you've got places, or you've got sort of stitches that are on they're sort of talked about quite frequently on Flosstube. So you've got Ginger Gerald, you've got the Tiny Modernist, Satsuma Street. I mean, on Etsy there's also Northern Expression Needleworks. So yeah, I tend to sort of bounce about all over, but the biggest way to get enabled and to find out about really nice charts where you can just get the charts without is watch Flosstube, see the patterns that other people are stitching, and then just Google the name. And then that way you don't have to have kits. You can just order the chart. Some of them are like electronic PDF downloads, and some of them you can get them in the post. Okay, where am I? I need 4 stitches here. So yeah, there's all different places. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously a lot of the ones that I've got are like Mirabilia's. These charts, which again, I think I got this from, where did we get this? I think this came from the US, possibly this one. So this one's like the Rosewood Manor, Spring Quakers. But I'll literally just Google the charts that I hear about, that I like, that are really sort of talk to me. And normally you can find places as local to you as possible that will either be suppliers for them, or if not, I'll just get them from the States. So various different places. But obviously we don't really have LNSs here. So, I mean, you've got Hobbycraft, but Hobbycraft, they just do kits. Basically you've got Dimensions kits, and that's about it, which obviously is no good for, and they don't hold the sort of charts that we're talking about, and some of the more sort of design related charts. But yeah, there's quite a few places in the UK that I'll get. So, you know, Lakeside Needlecrafts, she holds a lot of the charts. Kitten Stitcher, or Crafty Kitten, she's a supplier for a lot of the charts. Peakside Needlecrafts, I think it is. I've bought from there. Patchwork Rabbit for a lot of the little house needleworks type things and the series type things. Yeah, various places that I'll get them from. Husband just came home and decided to cook instead of me, so I could feed our daughter, but in turn didn't want to drink, just wanted to sleep, so I'm back until I can eat. Lauren could read the comments and she's very beautiful. Oh, thank you, Charlotte. Yes, no, she's gone off out now. She won't sit there and read the comments for me. I don't think sort of stitching's not really her bag. So she's a gamer, and for those, I don't know if I've ever really mentioned it before, but Lauren does YouTube commentating as well. So she's got her own channel. Miss Lollipop Gamer on YouTube, and she does Sims, but she's a cool chick, does all the Sims stuff. So most of the time she's normally in there recording her own stuff, so don't think she'd be too impressed if I was like, can you come and read out my comments for me, please? Thank you, helpful techie daughter. Yeah, she's great. I love the old-fashioned roses, and that's just too much work trying to keep on top of the black fly, green fly and black spot. Totally. I'm forever out there dousing them in something or another. We're talking about roses. Sorry if I didn't make that clear when I was reading that message out. I do tend to spend a lot of time in the garden spraying if I have to, but I'll only spray in the evening when I know that the bumblebees have gone to bed. Have you ever worked with 28 count even weave? If so, do you have any tips to make it easier? I'm about to start a huge full coverage project. I've used even weave before, excited and nervous. If I'm not mistaken, this is 28 count. This is a 28 count even weave that I'm stitching on. I think if you can stitch on 20 count, you can stitch on 28 count. The only thing is whether you need to bring your stitching closer to you or use sort of magnifiers or glasses or something to just make it so that you can clearly see the holes. But it literally is no different stitching on this as if it was a 20 count. It's much a muchness. It is literally just how small the stitches are. But if yours, is it a full coverage that you're doing? Oh, it sounds like husband's home. Husband is home. Could get rather noisy momentarily, and then I'll have to go, people. What was it you said? So you said you're doing a full coverage on 28 count. So no, it's no different to anything else that you'll turn your hand to. It just everything's smaller. So as long as you've got good visibility to be able to see the holes, you'll be fine. I mean, maybe I should do a video. I think I done a video, didn't I? Didn't I do a video of the difference between 25 count and 28 count? Maybe check back. I'm sure I did a video between the difference between 28 count and 25 count and then 10 stitch and full cross. That might sort of give you a little bit of sort of, you know, so you can see the difference. But the principles of it exactly the same. There really isn't any difference, really. Hi Joanne, sorry I've only just seen your see, this is it, the comments, they keep coming and I'm trying to keep on top of the comments. Hello. Are you using your new toy? Yes, I am. Love my new toy, and it's working perfectly, as you can see. I'm actually stitching. Do you know what? I feel like I've actually achieved something this afternoon while I'm sitting here chatting away to you. You lovely, lovely lot. I've done so much more stitching on this project just by sitting here. I might make this my stitch with me live stream piece, because there's not too much that I have to count too much on, although I am counting, if you know what I mean. And I'm still sort of being able to hold some sort of conversation with you all. Okay. Let's read some more comments, shall we? Thank you. Are you doing it that way with this design? And yes, it makes perfect sense. Good, as long as you understand what I'm saying, Gillian. I blame you for my obsession with chatelaines. Oh, don't mention chatelaines to me, because yeah, I really want to start another one, but I'm adamant I must not start another one until I have finished Evening in the Park. And it's so close, although it's not, it's miles away. That's the problem with them. You know, you get to sort of sections of it that you're thinking, God, there's really not that much to do on them. But the actual stitching, there is, because of what it is and how it is. But I totally love it. It's just one of those things. It's totally different to any of my other stitches, any other things that I do. I mean, absolutely nothing like anything else that I stitch on, which is what I think I like about it, because you don't just sit there and stitch it. You know, it's like sometimes you do cross stitch, sometimes you do beading, sometimes you do specialty stitches, sometimes you're doing back stitch. That's the bit I like about it. It's sort of all different sections, and you can ping around. You don't have to just sit there and do just the cross stitch sections and then do the back stitch. Well, obviously you have to back stitch last for the areas that go over stuff, but if you've got beading to do, you can do your beading if you fancy that. But then if you don't fancy that and you fancy doing something a little bit more challenging, shall we say, you can turn your hand to some of the specialty stitches. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love my chatelaine. I would just love to have it finished now, because I want it on the wall. But hey, it takes as long as it takes, right? It's all in the process. It's all about the process. At least that's what I'm trying to convince myself. Have you tried Nimble Thimble in Wales? It's a lovely shop selling American charts. European Cross Stitch is a good website for bead packs and specialty threads. Oh, no, I haven't tried there. I might have to though. So what's it called? Nimble Thimble in Wales. I might have to write that down. I have to write that down or remember it. See if I can remember it. If I don't remember it, remind me on Facebook. Zaya, what games does she play? Lauren does The Sims. I know that she also plays Minecraft and is it League of Legends? But the ones that she actually does for her YouTube is just The Sims at the moment. I don't think she's I don't think she records anything else other than The Sims. I want to try and finish this one little bit, and then I think I'm going to have to call it a day, because I have a sneaky suspicion that my husband has seen the camera on as he's walked past the window, so he knows I'm recording, so he's now camped out in his barn so as not to come in and disturb, because that's the type of man he is. Let's just read the rest of these, shall we? What have we got? Yep, full coverage. I'm doing a stitch of a photo of my service dog at Disney World. A friend of mine made the pattern for me. Oh, Rachel, that sounds lovely. And you've got a service dog. What sort of dog have you got? Teresa, might ask what stand you're using. I like how you just swiveled your... Gillian, I've just recently posted a video on YouTube about this new stand. This is a Velka Patoki. So it's, I think, a Ukraine company. I don't know if I can sort of show it to you. Here you go. So it's just a little table stand. So I sit that on the table. It only holds small hoops or Q-snaps. It doesn't hold anything really big, but it's perfect for what I need it for, especially for things like this. And the bit I like about it is obviously it's all, I can move it up and down. It's really, really flexible for my Q-snap, and then I can just literally flip my work over. It's perfect. I love it. Do you know what? I've always been about big stands and big projects and not using Q-snaps and not using hoops. And I should never say never, because, yeah, I'm blown away with this. I'm spending more and more time sitting with it at a table, to be honest, than I ever thought I would. And the fact that it's as good as it is, it's just so, yeah. I don't know. Well, I always thought that I would never have a small stand, or with hoops or Q-snaps, and it's amazed me after 5 years how much I've sort of transitioned. You know, and I am doing different things, and I think it is because I'm doing different designs. I don't just do full coverage now. I do other stuff, and because I do other stuff now, it's like there are times that I want to stitch other stuff, and it doesn't really require a massive, great big frame and stand. So yeah, loving my new little stand. Crafting with Beautiful Chaos. Hello, welcome to the chat. I'm sorry, I'm just about to go offline now. It's your fault that made me and my stitchy friends having a go. Destin Dress just popped in to say hi. Your stitching looks terrific, Teresa. Thank you ever so much. When do I get to see the shawl? Oh, yeah, the shawl. The knitting. Oh dear. My monthly update will be coming out either next weekend or the weekend after, depending on how much time I get. The shawl will make an appearance and all will become very apparent. You'll see why I'm laughing. I'm not saying anything more than that, because it's just yeah, you'll see. Let's just say that there was a massive problem with the shawl. It did get finished, but as to whether it's a wearable product or not, that's up for debate. So yeah, watch this space. You'll have to wait for the video and you'll see what I mean, because it's impressive. Yeah. I can't say anything more than that. I fell in love with Evening in the Park. Only been stitching for just over a year and already doing 4 Hades and now trying a chatelaine. Gillian, that is cool. That is cool. I was very much the same. Started with Hades and then had chatelaine, had Mirabilias. That whole having to start with small projects, I disagree with that immensely. I found that the little kits were actually harder. So, Charlotte, you've got my address via Messenger. Yeah, send me that link. Send me a link just to remind me the name of that place in Wales, will you? Because I will forget. I've got a brain the size of a gnat. Renita, Teresa, you're doing a great job of stitching and keeping up with the comments. I have worked on it, but this is the first one that I've done since early in the year last year. So yeah, so I was a bit out of practice this time around, but I think we got there eventually. I think I just need to let my nerves calm down. But you've all been absolutely fabulous. So thank you so much, you gorgeous lot. And I really didn't expect to see so many of you. So I've got to be honest, I was a bit like, oh, what do I do now? So it's so lovely that you've all come and hung out with me. And I'm so pleased that I've actually managed to do stitching and that the cameras have worked, and that you can actually see, look, I've got progress. I've got progress, and you lovely lot, when my next video, when I go, this is how much progress I've got, you are going to be all the people that I'm like, and for all those lovely people on the live chat that physically saw me stitching this, yes, progress, just how we like it. This might have to be my Stitch With Me live project, because I feel like I've actually achieved so much more sitting here chatting, because I'm not overly conscious of what I'm doing. I'm sort of trying to do both at the same time. So it's been lovely. Post-traumatic stress disorder, and she is my lifeline. Rachel, I am so pleased to hear that you've got yourself a service dog. That's just so lovely. Mary Perkins from Coventry is not your Mary Perkins. I'm another one. Oh, we've got a clone. It's the Mary Perkins clone. Really? I don't believe we must have. Well, Mary Perkins in Coventry. I'm going to have to talk to you about you with my Mary Perkins from Bristol, because, wow, there's more than one Mary Perkins. I wonder if you both look alike. You'll have to send me a picture. Right, I have to go, people, because my gorgeous husband has just returned home, so I'm starting to hear the noises as expected. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you for sitting there and keeping me occupied with my stitching, and thank you for giving me things to talk about. It's been an absolute blast, and I will make sure that I do not leave it too long for the next one. I'll just need to make sure that I give you all a bit more of a heads up rather than just like an hour before. So have a lovely evening all, and afternoon for those of you that are in the US and Canada, and various other places in the world. Can't forget you all. And until next time, bye bye for now.